Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
And welcome into another rousing rendition of Libservative podcast. As you can tell, Dan is out doing fuck all in Florida or wherever the hell he is. And then the last minute, he's like, nah, I'd rather enjoy the sun. That's why Bell's out there and that's right. He amused on the beach right now in his sunglasses, just enjoying himself. And his arms are invisible sometimes. That's what happens in the UAE. If you've never been, then just... I don't know, read a fucking book, I guess.
It's so bright here.
And welcome to another episode of Libservative, the world's smartest podcast, where two intellectual idiots, well, three, fostering political and cultural literacy. Tonight on the show, we're going to talk more about this war in Iran. That's still fucking going on. We got bombs, barrels, and bullshit. We're going to talk about the jobs numbers that aren't looking so hot. What does that mean? Is the economy going to shit? Is it okay? The numbers are kind of fluctuating a little bit. And then Epstein is still hanging around. You get that? That's a pun. You like that pun?
That's pretty good.
And Twitter is not working. Twitter will not let us go live. That's okay. Show must go on. So Dan's in Florida. Like I said, doing fuck all. We decided to just take a vacation from his problems. Thinking he can run away from this Iranian problem. I guess. I don't fucking know. What's new with you, Bell? How's the UAE doing?
How's the UAE? I'm just here, recovering from my surgery and enjoying my time watching the oil tankers line them up. They're just trying not to die.
Is Trump out there yet? Fishing for mines?
No,
everything's fine.
He's in Kentucky trying to get rid of Thomas Massey.
He's probably already back in Florida on his golf course. Dude, the motherfucker... We're in war, gas prices through the roof, inflation, like, we're not stupid. We know that's following right behind. And here's Trump out there just on his golf course. And I don't really know what the fuck to say about that other than
I think it's a very rude introduction.
I know, I'm sorry, man. It's not a good look when you're sending us off to war and you're just out there just playing golf. So updates. The Iran war, you got an update for you. It's still going on.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
The Iran war is still happening.
Trump said he was opening up the reserves today.
Yes, he did.
Prices.
So do you read dude? And again, this just goes to the fucking two wings of the same fucking bird. You want to go off on that little tangent real quick? This motherfucker talked so much shit. All the Republicans talked so much shit when Biden released. Let me find that number real quick. He released 182 million barrels of the emergency reserves in 2022 when the Russia-Ukraine war shit popped off, right?
Correct.
Well, not to be outdone, because Trump is bigger, better, and greater. They're going to be releasing. They're going to make 400 million barrels of oil available to be released.
My favorite part about all that is he says, well, we've done it before and we filled them back up, and we're just gonna fill them back up again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, my guy.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to find the quote that I had, because it was
That is the
basically, yeah,
quote.
like that is the quote. Yeah, I don't even
was-
need to say anything else.
that is the
That's
quote.
pretty much the quote. Like, yeah, we're gonna drain it, but we'll fill it back up. Like, oh, all
Yeah,
right.
but when every other president does it, it's a problem. It's funny now how people use the actions of presidents they don't like to justify the actions of the president they do like now. Then
Well,
it's like,
that's
why
just-
did you just
that's it. Like, I think about
why
that.
did
Like, a bunch of people voted for Trump because they're like, well, Harris is going to bring us into war. And now it's, well, this is a better war. So gas prices are, what have they gone up? They've gone up by like what, 50 cents already, and like on
at
average.
least some
like,
places
for
in
people.
Michigan.
Yeah, in Michigan. California is like, dude, you ever, we were just talking shit about this on the show too, with is the State of the Union address, and how Trump was like, yeah, gas was up to nearly $5 in California, and it's probably back
National
there again.
National average gas prices have surged by approximately 64 cents per gallon over the past month. So higher than 50 cents. We have it good apparently at 50 cents.
Yeah, we're always at the higher end
a
of
little
the-
extra.
Yeah, what is the short-term pain for long-term gain is what they're
Yeah.
saying right now, right?
That's what they always say.
That's funny. I have a nice little montage of that. Do you want to talk about like what's the next talking point, you know, from like the propaganda machine when it comes to America, right? Here it is right here.
I hope you imagine.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers. We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary, short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term, short-term, and long-term.
Short-term blip. Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
So
It sounded like a song.
So that's where we're at right now. Other updates. Did we talk about the Navy ship being sunk last week? I think we did, right?
I believe we did. If we didn't, it's still fucked up.
My question is about this whole goddamn thing is like the math just ain't mathing. You know, $20,000 drones from Iran getting flown at our bases, at our allies in the Middle East, and at and Israel. Differentiate the two, right? Because one's Jewish, I guess, and one's Muslim. Like, I don't know, that sounded clunky, but there's a lot of allies over there who we've been pushing really hard through the Abraham Accords and like trying to create this peace in the Middle East that doesn't include Israel, clearly, because they're the ones that are constantly prodding and poking and all of this shit. But here we're seeing $20,000 drones being thrown at everything, and we're sending $1 million missiles at $20,000 drones. So now we got Ukraine coming to help. Old Zelensky's coming in to come and teach us how to stop the Shahed drones from fucking our shit up. And it's just how long does this last before?
How long?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's gonna last until America leaves. See, the problem, like we were talking about this pre-show, everybody thinks that because we're knocking the shit out of Iran and like their manufacturing sites that we're just gonna win this war. They're not gonna be able to produce. Russia produces 500 of those drones every single day. It would cost Iran, I think I read it was like 335 million to replenish their 80,000 drone supply right now. How many missiles do we get for the same amount of money?
We're in the billions.
And,
we're roughly spending $1 billion a day in this war. And what are we? February. What day did it happen? It was like what, February 28th? It was a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So we're 12 days into it. So we're now matching the 12-day war, and we're spending roughly $1 billion a day.
Yeah.
But Trump's out here, you know, he's just saying we're winning. You know, he's saying
Nobody's ever been hit like that.
Nobody's ever been hit like that. And the war is like, now we're looking at like the day of, you know, we're talking about when that school got hit. What was it, like 100 and some little girls were killed?
Yeah.
And it just, this administration is not giving me any confidence in how we're supposed to be like just on board with this shit. You know, I saw a infographic recently talking about like World War II was like 80% approval. The Iraq War even was like 70%. This one's already in the gutter at like 40%, and it's not getting any better
21.
because 21%.
I've read polls that said 21%. I mean, this
poll from the New York Times.
No, it was a couple, like maybe, who knows? But even then, even if you average out the highest, which is 40% and 21%, you could probably say that maybe 30% of Americans support this war.
Not unless you ask Trump supporters.
Then, yeah, and even then, I could get into that. I won't, but
no, go ahead. Let me hear it.
Oh, go ahead. No,
yeah,
it's
no,
tinfoil
that's
hat.
the thing, right? Like that's insane to me. The goalpost movement of just no new wars to just being, well, you know, they can't have nukes. They can't do it.
And that's kind of my thing here too. Like what I really kind of didn't want to get into, but like Dan mentioned it before, this is definitely a religious war. 110%. Now, I've read some holy books in my days, and I could tell you that Trump is literally changing what it means to be a Christian.
That's fair. Well, I think that even started with Ronald Reagan. Like before the late 70s, early 80s, like abortion wasn't even on the radar for Christians.
Oh, I think Trump has Reagan's handbook.
He probably does.
He has his playbook, and he
keeps it in the Trump Bible.
For sure.
I can't be outdone by Jefferson. I have to fucking make my own Bible.
Like, he's like the anti-Jefferson. He just took all the stuff. Like Thomas Jefferson took all the quotes of him. Like he made his own Bible. I don't know if you knew this.
Thomas Jefferson? Oh yeah, no, yeah, he did. He took the Bible, and what he did though was he took out all of the
everything
miracles.
moral, everything good. Yeah.
Oh, Trump. Yeah, no,
Thomas Jefferson took everything that was, because he practiced deism, which is like a practice of practicality and realism. So did Benjamin Franklin. So did Thomas Paine. Those three guys are really the reason we have separation of church and state. But he would take the quotes that would teach morality and stuff like that out of the King James Bible, and he made his own Bible, and he did the same thing with the Quran. He did the same thing with the Torah. And I mean, that's what they built the nation on, pretty much. But they were like, we don't want these books to rule our nation. These are just practical things that humans should practice.
Right.
But
just like the basic foundations of just being basically moral. Like,
right.
don't get bogged down with all the haters out there.
So now I mean,
Get bogged down by all the haters
250 years later, we have somebody that's doing the opposite. It's like he's like anti-Jefferson and taking like he's like, I could use this to justify this.
You know what's crazy too? You know what I just learned today? Like, I always knew that like Islam like saw Jesus as a prophet, you know, but today I found out that they actually did like basically considered him the Messiah, and that the Jewish people killed the Messiah, and that Muhammad was considered the last communicator, like as a prophet, but Jesus was still the Messiah, and they don't look at them two in any more or less like importance.
Right.
And they also think that Jesus was born of a miraculous birth. But where it deviates is they don't believe Jesus was God. They believe that he was a prophet, and that he is still like anointed, and that he's like the one of God's like people, but they don't see him like, you know, in Christianity, there's the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. They don't see him as that, but they still like accept him as the Messiah, and they still think he's going to come back. And they also
not all of them. There's a few different like
and
sects that don't.
And then they also like large swaths, right? I know I'm generalizing because I just learned this today. But and that also they don't think Jesus actually died on the cross. They think he was ascended into heaven.
Interesting.
And then there's like a sect, like there's something in there, I forget, but my guy from work was telling me that the person that was hung on the cross was actually Judas. That God made Judas look like Jesus, and Judas is the one that was like hung on the cross. It's interesting. Like it's interesting like how much closer all these three religions are together, and here we are all fighting each other and then just literally bombing each other, and millions of people have died over a war over the same God, over technicalities. It's just such fucking bullshit. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. So back to the Iran war, because you know that's the hot topic of the day. That school that was hit, you know, it looks like it was us. Trump tried to say that.
I just read updated information on that, actually, that apparently we use outdated tracking technology, and that was our missile. I'm not going to say that's for sure, but that's just what I read. I mean, we've read so many things about it. So many things.
It was a Tomahawk missile. There was imagery of it. You know, it's basically been nothing less than confirmed by our, you know, like Trump is like, well, you know, they have Tomahawks. He tried to say Iran had Tomahawk missiles because we sell them to people. That was his plausible deniability.
No, listen, get that. I was just going to actually say it. Like, that's actually very plausible, because how many countries do you think have bought our weapons and then turned them to make an extra buck? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How many
That's
countries?
fair.
And you know it's happening. And you
I'm sure more than one.
Not only that, you also know that the United States is doing third-party deals. Nobody can tell me different. Like knowingly selling weapons to China, or knowingly selling weapons to one of our enemies through a third party, and that's
to
the
create some
plausible
liquidity, to use
deniability.
that money for something else. Absolutely.
Right.
Like
money.
I mean, what was that Spike Cohen fucking post he had the other day?
One?
Like, don't forget. Yeah. Don't forget we're fighting a war with people who we sold weapons to.
Yes.
I'm gonna find that one real quick.
Go on my Facebook. It's on there.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was about.
No, Spike Cohen, he's spoken nothing but truth about this war. I mean, really, it's It's a war that we really started. Like, everybody's like, this has been going on since 79. Like, dude, read a history book.
A 47-year war. And then people bring up shit that happened like in the 70s and 80s. And that's fair. Those are, those are grievances.
Those are bad.
Those are grievances you can have. But the Ayatollah that was in charge when that happened died in 89. And it's like, I'm pretty hard pressed to find any action by the actual Iranian government. Like, granted, they're proxies, they're terrorists, but it's like, I don't think we have a leg to stand on when it comes to judging that, because we've also had proxies and terrorists since then. The Afghanistan, we were arming the Mujahideen to fight the Russians, who turned out to be the Taliban, and the Al Qaeda. So Spike Cohen said, gentle reminder that ISIS was created by the U.S. government to fight the Shiite militants who were armed by the U.S. government to fight Saddam, who was armed by the U.S. government to fight Iran, who hates us because the U.S. government overthrew their elected leader and installed a brutal dictator. If that doesn't speak to exactly like what's happening right now, then I don't know what does. I guess this is all shit that's just been going on for 50 goddamn years. It's blowing up in our faces.
Longer
than
that. 75 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so briefly, 1 minute. So they had a democratically elected government in 54. We overthrew them because Britain took their oil and they were supposed to be getting paid royalties. Britain was not paying the royalties, so Iran nationalized their oil. The UK came at us for help. That was Dwight Eisenhower and Winston Churchill, to overthrow the government of Iran in the name of the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company.
Yep. Now known as BP.
They did this. They turned the name for consumer reasons, changed the name of the company to BP, and they installed the Shah, who was easily overthrown in 1979 by the Islamic regime. So we set ourselves up for this.
These idiots on it's just bullshit
in the long run. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree.
It's like we stay the fuck out of shit, and maybe this shit wouldn't happen.
Right.
We
yeah, dude, that's
buy
the fucking
things from
killer,
Iran,
right?
and like be friends with them.
Like, that's the fucking killer to me, man. Like, it's here we are now. We bombed a country twice, not once, but twice. Once in June and now. And it's not like they were being assholes or doing anything. Our diplomats were meeting with their diplomats. And not to be construed real quick, it's so dumb. You have to give these dumbass caveats when you're trying to add context to a situation before people freak out and their buttholes pucker and they're ready to just come at you like a goddamn spider monkey. The Ayatollah can rest in piss. I could give two shits about him. I could care less. But the motherfucker was 86. He was about to die probably within a year anyways. But now here we are, and we kicked up a fucking hornet's nest, get like all these different prices. Like now we have a bunch of fucking allyships or alliances like being shaken. And for what? For what? And like for what? To put a more hard line, to put his son in charge, who's more hard line, closer with the IRGC, who now has a fucking vendetta because he just watched his whole family get killed by us while we were having diplomacy talks.
Okay, that was going to be one of my points. You killed the only person in Iran leadership that was actually coming to the table. How many nuclear deals did this
for
guy
the
sign?
Second time?
And then, how many of these countries in the Middle East that have U.S. bases are going to start feeling threatened by having U.S. bases, that they're going to start actually expelling U.S. bases and U.S. personnel? Because that's one of Iran's demands.
I'm okay
I'm
with that.
perfectly fine with that.
Yeah,
we shouldn't be there like that in the first place.
No, Just bring the troops home, bring the bases home, turn America into a goddamn porcupine and dare a motherfucker.
Right. And that's literally what Iran's doing right now, is saying, get out of the Middle East, or we're just gonna keep hitting everybody. And
because then this shit's happening, right? Because then shit like I think it was someone from the Iranian administration. I don't even know who's in charge now because we just keep killing them and bombing them. But all the Middle Eastern countries are going to Iran and going. All the Middle Eastern countries are going to Iran and going, yo, hold up. Like, we're not attacking you. Stop fucking attacking us. And then America shares a video of missiles being launched from their fucking countries towards Iran. And Iran, one of their people was like commenting, hey, thanks for confirming this. Fucking stupid. It's a fucking game. You got a bunch of fucking idiots in there just for propaganda and making dumbass videos for likes and shares, and just
the whole point of this really is that people should be understanding that Iran can actually stand up for themselves, and is the first country to be able to do so. I mean, and we should have learned from Afghanistan. We went in there to eliminate the Taliban. We spent 20 years there, and today we're still trying to get Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, and guess who's telling us no? The Taliban.
Who's in charge? Because we actually we actually do negotiate with terrorists.
Fucking regime change. Fuck you.
That's well, they don't even know what the fuck it is. Like, one day it's regime change, one day it's just getting rid of their navy, one day it's getting rid of their ballistic missiles, one day it's getting rid of their fucking nuclear capabilities. How the fuck are we gonna do that without boots on the ground? How are we gonna go in there? Because obviously just bombing them didn't work the first time.
You know my favorite part about this is all the people that are like, yeah, I love ICE. Yeah, those protesters should have stayed home, are using protesters as a reason to justify invading another country.
Right. You think, so you think bombing the protesters' infrastructure is supposed to make them be sympathetic to America? It just make sense. Like, none of this fucking makes sense. Now we're hitting
invading the America.
We're hitting their desalination plants. They're hitting all the other Middle Eastern desalination plants. The people in that area can't get access to water. Shocker, they're in the fucking desert. In case anyone didn't know.
You know when they really, what's crazy too is back in, I think it was 2000, like when ISIS and all them terrorists started grabbing a foothold, and they were in northern Iraq and Syria and all over there. The president that we put in power in Iraq asked the United States for help defending against ISIS. The United States said no. You know who came to Iraq's aid? It was Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Iraq's gonna help stop what they're doing? Fuck no, they're not.
No. Yeah, it's the oil, the oil infrastructure is just being hit all over. And then here's something that's rich for you. Cluster bombs. Iran is
that's a good one too.
Yeah, Iran is saying that the cluster bombs are a war crime. That they can't be using cluster bombs because they bomb indiscriminately and they can target people and hurt people. Well, there was a convention on cluster munitions back in, I think, 2008. And Iran and Israel are two of the countries that said, no, we're not joining this ban on cluster missiles. You know who also didn't? America. Russia didn't either.
Yeah.
Neither did China. But virtually every other country did. But all the big boys on the block and the ones who feel the most threatened said, no. We want to leave the table open to use whatever defense that we can. So
there's a lot of nations that sign this.
Oh, you're looking it up right now?
A little over 100.
Yeah. Most people were like, yeah, those are shitty bombs. Let's not use those anymore. And America's like, fuck you.
Yeah, about to say,
And you know what that goes to?
Then
Then I bet you, like, if Israel and America said they would stop, I could see Iran actually saying like they're not going to. It goes back to the Patriot missile system. The Patriot missile system and the THAAD systems and all of that stuff. When America very first started like actually like creating these systems, Russia reached out and said, "Hey, let us get in on this like research and development. We can work on this together." And America, because we were starting to create this after 9/11, and America told Russia no. So what did Russia do? Russia goes, well, then I guess we have to start developing missiles that can beat your Patriot missile system. Because why wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they? When you make a hard line like that, you
Hypersonic
become an
missiles.
adversary. Yeah, and now here we are with the hypersonic missiles. Speaking of Russia, everyone is like, everyone's up in arms about Russia giving Iran, which is still uncorroborated. We have all the people in our administration going, well, Russia says they're not, so we're going to have to take them at their word that Russia is giving Iran intelligence about like where our shit is and stuff like that. And
so is China. China has a boat over there.
And it's so hard to fucking fathom, right? Who have we been giving intelligence to for the past 4 goddamn years in another war that Russia's a part of? Ukraine. And now Russia is giving intelligence to Iran, and then we're just like, oh well, you can't do that.
Speaking of intelligence,
and it's like, and you hate to see it. You hate to see this shit. You don't like. First off, it's like just the war in general that was like completely like avoidable is happening right now. And you hate to see other countries sticking their noses into our fucking quagmire. But it's like the context is there, and it's just like it's important to understand that the enemy in a war also gets a vote on what happens.
Speaking of intelligence and all of that, it's funny because intelligence, you don't really need to do much anymore. There's pictures circulating Facebook. Everybody can literally look them up. I'm not going to put it up, but it's pictures of the Patriot missile system in South Korea being taken down to be taken to the Middle East.
That is a fucking quagmire in itself. All right.
Oh, I know. So now you're opening up Taiwan to being taken by China. And this is going to be a world war, no doubt in my mind.
Well, I mean, North Korea was just started testing missiles again. Did you see that?
They don't have that many. They have less than 20. I mean, it's still like a damaging, but like, I don't think they would use them on South Korea. All right,
look, here's why this is also a blunder. The bilateral trade with South America is $240 billion. The bilateral trade with Israel is $50 billion. Okay. South Korea. So we have Iran. You know, now we're moving all, like you just mentioned, we're moving all of our THAAD systems from South Korea to Israel.
Involve religion.
To an area that the president is still adamantly saying we destroyed their nuclear capabilities. Away from an area where we know that crazy motherfucker in North Korea actually has nuclear capabilities. From an area that damn sure when it comes to GDP, when we're talking about capitalism and free trade, does a hell of a lot more for the U.S. economy than Israel does.
Here's a more important question. Do you think North Korea has Shahed drones?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
That's dangerous.
I'm sure that intellectual property has been shared with them. If not from Iran, from China. I'm sure China and Russia have it. I know Russia has them.
Russia and
They're the
China
ones buying them from Iran.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Russia makes
You
them.
know, and America is such a like our military is such a big fucking blob that it's still designed to fight Cold War tactics from the fucking 70s and 80s.
It would take them a month and a half to completely replenish. Like between Russia and Iran, it would take them a month and a half to completely replenish Iran's supply of 80,000.
And we're making Patriot missiles at what, like 10 a month or something like that?
No, we're not. We're signing contracts today. Boeing just got a contract for. I'll look that up, but
yeah, go ahead and look
yeah,
that up.
no.
Because, yeah, it's so great. So and how so America's not going to raise taxes to all of a sudden print all this money to buy more of this shit and ramp it up. What are they going to do?
This is not a contract through our government. Boeing signs $289 million missile program with Israel for 5,000 smart bombs.
So our tax dollars are going to Israel. And then Israel's taking that money and sending it back to us to make smart
that's
bombs.
great for our economy, says Trump.
And taxes are being cut and not raised. So that money is just being printed. So every dollar is being devalued by, even though if it's like 0.1% or 100% or even 1,000%, every single time a dollar gets printed.
Can we stop calling our money the petrol dollar and start calling it the dollar?
The what dollar?
That sounds way cooler.
The Epstein
the missile
dollar? Oh, okay. I'm gonna call it the Epstein dollar.
That's fine. I like that too.
But yeah, so like in 2017, South Korea sacrificed its diplomatic and economic relations with China to host the U.S. THAAD system. I don't know if you remember that. It's almost 10 years ago now at this point. But do you remember like China was pissed that South Korea was starting to put these anti-ballistic or like interceptors and stuff on their property or their land? And then since then,
though.
they're not launchers, they're just defensive mechanisms. But
right,
it showed that South Korea was aligning itself with America over an Asian neighbor.
Yeah.
K-pop got banned in China because of it. Hyundai and Kia had to close their factories in China, ultimately losing their market shares in China. South Korea lost billions of dollars of exports to China in order to host the THAAD and Patriot systems. And now the U.S. is dismantling its THAAD and Patriot missile systems in South Korea and is sending them to the Middle East.
South Korea will resume trade with China, become an ally with China.
Oh, after this?
And yeah.
That's your prediction?
My prediction. Yep.
Dude, why not?
Regional now. It's regional now. Now it's becoming tribal, honest to God, except for Israel. Israel is the only like kink in the machine. I swear to God.
And why not?
And it's not
you
even
befriend
like
China,
like,
you befriend China,
listen,
the North Korea threat goes away.
Not even that, dude. Listen, if Israel was willing to if Israel was willing to not even make peace. If Israel was willing to part and have two states, a two-state solution is the only solution right now.
Oh yeah. No, you're not far off at all.
They want regional hegemony. They want Turkey. They want countries. Jordan's not going to happen. Jordan. That is probably my favorite country over there, and I've always wanted to visit. It's very beautiful. Very Donald Trump statement, but they seem to have it together every single conflict. They like if there's missiles over their country, it doesn't matter where they're from, they're shooting them down. Their president will kill you.
The king.
Like their king. Sorry.
Jordan has a king, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a story. One of their soldiers got killed by some ISIS people. He said, "Fuck it, I'm hopping in a jet," and then went and bombed them for 3 days. That's some gangster shit. But they always have like their shit together. Every single conflict. And right now, I'm pretty sure that they're siding with Iran because I don't think Iran wants to kill Israel. I really don't. If Israel was willing to come to the table with a 2-state solution, this would all stop. 100%.
That's a fair assessment. You know, and now we've kicked this beehive so much that now there's threats of drones hitting California. And that makes me wonder, like, is it a false flag?
No.
To shore up support? And if it's not, then I guess what the fuck did you expect for pulverizing a foreign nation and not having and then expecting them to not have any retaliation?
If one box truck in Iran can fit 700 Shahed drones that have, I think, maximum 110-pound payloads. We looked that up before the show. Imagine how much a couple boats can carry. Like, it's not far off, man. Like, there's a lot of shit in California.
And then working with the cartel. Because,
right. And I mean, you're not hitting the East Coast if you're Iran. Just tactically, you're not hitting the East Coast. You're going to hit the West Coast because the worst thing you have to deal with after that is the Rocky Mountains. What are they're going to be scared to walk through the desert?
I don't think there would ever be boots on the ground from Iran, but
even
just
then,
causing some terror. Like this America's perception of war since World War II has been land grab, capture, land grab and capture.
Yep.
Other countries, their mindset isn't that. They want to be left the fuck alone. Iran isn't going to put boots on the ground in America. They don't have the means.
No.
They don't have the long distance missiles. They don't have the logistics. They don't even have a navy anymore. Allegedly, right? What their tactic is right now is just survive and outlast America. They've now watched us 10 years of some shit popping off, 20 years maybe. And they can expedite that from 10 to 20 years to 5 or 6 if they just hurt our economy. Yeah. They don't have to outlast America. They have to outlast the midterms.
They said that today.
They have. Oh,
live
did they?
Live update today. According
they
to
need
CBS
to just make
News.
it hurt. They just need to make it hurt here. That's all they need to do. They need to make it hurt here economically to the point that Americans want nothing to do with it. And then anyone involved gets voted out.
Here's a quote. President Trump has said again that the war will end soon, whenever he decides it should, as Iran says it's ready for a long-term war of attrition that will destroy the entire U.S. economy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to start targeting U.S.-linked banks in the Middle East. So anybody out there with some money is going to have a hard time. And I know there's some investments out there. So that's going to be tough. Oil companies that set up shop up in the Middle East, it's going to be tough to get some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hate to see it. It's fucking stupid. I'm not here wishing Iran kicks the shit out of America. It's like sometimes you like to think that you like to see America get humbled so we can change our priorities. But it's like, here we are, already 8 soldiers dead who didn't need to be. It's literally throwing rocks at a bee's nest in the middle of the woods that wasn't bothering anyone. Like, okay, that doesn't sound exactly right. Like, not saying they weren't bothering anyone. They were still, like I said, Ayatollah was a piece of shit. They still were funding Hezbollah and the Houthis and all of that shit. But what was that? What did they do that on their own, or was that because America was all up in their shit? It's fucking stupid. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just like, again, we were in the middle of diplomacy with Iran about this, and Trump had the ability to get the deal that he criticized Obama for, that no deal was able to be gotten since the 70s when it comes to U.S. inspectors, when it comes to getting rid of the stockpile, when it comes to putting all of their nuclear shit into irreversible fuel. And we just decided to bomb them again for the second time during their fucking diplomacy. And now we're just going to feel the pain at home. It's fucking shitty. Like, all of this money being spent could have been spent at home to bolster up jobs, work on the infrastructure. It's stupid. I don't even know what to say,
throw
man.
millions and billions of dollars at a war, at a country that's throwing $20,000 drones at our bases.
Math ain't mathin'.
Math ain't mathin', and people think we're winning. There's gonna be
Winning
another
what?
Afghanistan, dude. 20 years long.
Right.
20 years
Yeah,
long.
well, so now the projection
is
is going into the summer.
All right, here, hold on. The Trump. This is today at, what is this? At 5:00 that Trump said the war will end soon. Now it's projected. Who projected it till summer?
I don't have that on me.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't have
Well,
that.
all I know is Iran's hitting the shit out of everybody. They're hitting airports all in the area. They're hitting U.S. bases all in the area. And they want to bang it out.
The Pentagon internal memos indicate military planners are preparing for the conflict to last through September 2026. Yeah. Hey, good job, Trump. Good job, because now you know what you're going to get. You know what's going to happen come November? It's going to be a big old blue wave, and it's going to be the shittiest of the goddamn shittiest fucking Democrats that are coming in, because they don't have to run on policy. They don't have to run on anything. It's just going to be orange man bad. And you're just going to get a bunch of shitty Democrats who don't know their ass from the hole in the ground, like, running shit next. And it's like, and then you're going to get half the country going, yeah, blue wave, we did it. And then they're going to be pissed off because the Democrats can't do shit. Every time they have the House or anything, nothing gets done except for neoliberalism. And they just fucking use social welfare for corporations. And then give a couple dimes to, and then give a couple dimes of it to the American people. And then the other half of the two wings of the same bird party, because they're all in cahoots together. They're all in cahoots. You're going to get the other half that is going to go. The other half is going to blame the pennies that they're throwing at the people for Medicaid or Medicare. Blame that for the deficit. or blame that for the inflation, when it's the millions and billions of dollars you're just printing without raising taxes to pay for bombs, that are just to pay for resources and everything that's going to make them all more expensive, because instead of silica and copper and tin and aluminum and lithium and all these things that could be used to create commodities and goods and jobs in America on a mass scale versus a small sector called the military industrial complex. And the government's just going to print all this money to buy these things to make them less accessible for the actual market. And then inflation is going to go back up. And then
see the thing, like silver. I was just explaining silver to you guys a couple weeks ago. Everybody's like, sweet, the price of silver is going up. That's great. I'm going to sell my silver. Do you know why your price of silver is going up? Because data
it's getting
centers.
blown up.
Well, yeah. Well, data centers are buying it up, and they need it all, and all these companies that need chips and everything are making all these chips. That's why the price of silver is going up. It's in high demand, like extremely high demand. I mean, think about it. They're not getting these metals anywhere else. Not no more.
Aaron says he's looks like he's in agreement with us. He was all in cahoots for real though. How do you flip yours over to support your bill without a backdoor deal? Yeah, no, it's that's just it. They're all in cahoots. Like look at the War Powers Act. All the the Democratic Party is going, we're against this war, but somehow they were able to peel away.
They all fucking voted for it.
Well, no, so a majority of them voted against it. But how come it's always 5 or 6 are able to just peel away to not let a bill pass? Because those 5 or 6 were in districts that are safe. Those 5 or 6 can vote however the fuck that the uniparty system wants, and then they won't lose their seats. And the Democrats on a macro scale can go, look at this. The Democrats were against it. But it's also the Democrats that helped make it happen. And then everyone fights over the Democrats versus the Republicans. But continually we get more war. We get less food. There are less dollar bills being stretched to where they can in America. Houses are inaccessible for a lot of people. Things like healthcare is way too inaccessible. Things like college is way too inaccessible because they constantly welfare for the rich on your dollars and your tax-paying money of like the middle class and the lower class. And it's constantly, anytime there's something big, anytime. But right now we're in a small shutdown in the government for the DHS, and the Democrats are holding their ground. And honestly, I agree with them because one of the main factors of why they're not letting funding go through to DHS is because they just want the ICE agents to have the same type of standards that our police officers do when it comes to body cams, identification, and using the same tactics that, or not fucking stomping on your Fourth Amendment rights by using administrative warrants instead of judicial warrants. Simple things like that. That's cool. But when it came to the actual, the bill of being when it came to the budget for the DHS, when it was what was that now? 3 to 6 months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
There was just enough Democrats that passed the aisle to go and help them. They're two wings of the same bird. And it's a fucking mess. And well, he said the DHS is more important than ICE. Yeah, but the DHS isn't necessarily. The DHS isn't necessarily shut down. They're still operating. It's what? It's like TSA, something like that. It's a partial shutdown. Most of their shit, all the shit that is important, like spying on Americans, that's still up and running. Don't worry about that. Which is another thing. We've had the Patriot Act, and now Trump's doing the Palantir. All these different administrations, between the Democrats and Republicans, when it comes to more mass surveillance and stomping on your constitutional rights for the sake of safety, that they could just listen to your phones and they could do whatever the fuck they want for the sake of your safety for the past 21 years, 23 years, 24 years, whatever. We still have to worry about sleeper cells. We still have to worry about.
Isn't your boy president though?
We still have to worry about fucking terrorists in our country, even though we've been told that just let the government spy on everything you do to find the terrorists. But they still haven't found them. But they're still spying on everything that you do. It goes back to Benjamin Franklin's quote when he said, if you give up a little bit of freedom, or if you give up freedom for a little bit of security, you deserve neither.
Yep. If you give up necessary freedoms for temporary safety, you deserve me either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking mess. This war was fucking stupid, dude. It's completely shattering a lot of our alliances. Now we're attacking NATO members like Spain because Spain is like, this is stupid. I don't want no part of it. You got Lindsey Graham out here going, Spain has lost their way. And now he's trying to say we need to bomb Lebanon. That old ass motherfucker. Like you go out there and fight then. Did you see as soon as this war kicked off too, Barron Trump's son now has a medical condition to where he can't fight in the war?
Yep.
My question is, do you think all of us here in Michigan, do you think our kids will be in the same battalion when there's a draft?
I don't know, but there was a bill introduced to sign all men into a draft automatically.
That's the selective service system, though. I think that's always been there, right? Is that a part of the selective service system?
Nope, that's different. Selective service is different than a draft. Aaron Biles is going to be in the draft.
You're in the draft. I'm in the draft.
Yeah, I'm probably in the draft.
Actually, I don't know if I could be. Because I can't rotate.
But I'm not for this war either.
Yeah. You're going to be like a Muhammad Ali? You're going to go to jail for it?
Probably. I won't die in jail. I might die in jail, but I got a better chance of dying over in Iran. He said we would never be drafted. We're probably right above the age limit, unless it got nasty. 35.
And that is treading, like, a full caveat. That conversation is treading a little bit of panicking, right? Being a panic and saying that we would get drafted. But this fucking drags out, 20 years like Afghanistan did. My kid's 6 years old. I don't need him being like, okay, so here's the thing. We talk about kids being impressionable, right? We talk about kids like they're like even if it's not drafted, if it's volunteer. We talk about kids being impressionable. We're making a big deal right now about kids going and transitioning because of like the cultural like pressure and like the phenomena right now of like becoming trans and things like that. And so we're trying to outlaw trans surgeries on kids, rightfully so. Your brain's not fully developed. Kids are very impressionable easily. And then we're saying that, and then in the same breath, we're allowing recruiters to go into high schools and set up fucking booths to try to get 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds to start being what's the word I'm looking for? Influenced into the idea that like, hey, military, free college, things like that. So it's still like a propaganda influence tactic that is the same thing that we would actually criticize when it came to kids being trans. And I don't want my kid 10 years from now, 11 years from now being in high school and then seeing some recruiters and being like, oh, you want to fight for your freedom? You want to fight for this? For some bullshit war that started when he was 6? Call me crazy, but I'm just sick and tired of us sticking our noses in shit over regime change wars when it's like the guys is to like go after oil and stuff like that. It's dog shit. It's like we're wasting all of these resources. We're wasting all this shit. We're completely destroying alliances, and all of this stuff over what Marco Rubio said for Israel, and then we don't even know what the clear message is.
Could you imagine if we didn't have all these like bases all across the world, and we like really just defended our country just like every other country? And when your kids signed up for the army, they're like, yo, I'm going to be stationed in California. Yo, I'm going to be stationed in Wyoming. Yo, I'm going to be stationed
free vacation.
Cool.
A good vacation spot. Yeah.
But you're still defending our country. You're defending our country.
Oh yeah, the soldiers themselves. I'm not judging any soldier. Like those people,
No, goddamn.
no matter what our government ends up flipping the script and setting these people into bullshit wars, like this is what we're calling it, is the bullshit war. Those individual people signed up under the best intentions to protect their country.
Why are they dying literally across the world?
In Bahrain.
During a war with Iran.
Yeah, in a completely different country.
Please, like, don't say you're defending our country from Qatar or any other place. Doesn't make sense. It literally, you're there for profit. That's the only reason we're there. Somebody is using the U.S. government to profit. That lobbyists, like, if you don't understand that, I don't.
Well, that's just it too, right? Like that
you.
was like all these different countries. They were allowing military bases for the sake of protecting their trade, protecting their commerce, protecting their GDP, and the securities of their countries. But then again, like South Korea has let us have all these military bases there to protect our trade when it's like it was the guise of just defending them against North Korea, who actually does have nukes. And then as soon as war's popping off somewhere else, we're just like, all right, peace. We're taking all of our Patriot missiles.
Right. And I mean, not only that, that shows that like we don't really have the genuine superiority that we thought we did. We don't have the munitions. And you see it right now with all these missiles hitting Israel. Israel doesn't have it. We don't have it. We're taking what we have from other countries and putting it in. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
We have our companies signing contracts with other countries. When's the last time you heard of Boeing doing something like that, or any one of an American company doing something like as big as that? You don't hear, like, that doesn't happen. Yeah, that is a third party. That's a third party deal right there. That is us giving money to Israel because we do that, and then them paying Boeing, like you said.
Yeah, our tax dollars are going to Israel for them to turn around and then take that money and then come back to America to buy, THAAD missiles and Patriot missiles. And then people in America going, see, they're stimulating our economy. And it's like, are they though?
Like the only thing,
because those dollars were generated out of thin air. Again, we're not raising taxes to pay for this shit. We're just printing money.
See,
the dollar has lost like 90% of its value since like 1925.
Fuck yeah.
For what? We got 42,000 miles of or 42,000 bridges in America considered deficient.
Over 2,000 cities where you can't drink the water.
I was just gonna say, how many counties or how many cities can you not even drink water out of the tap? Not even just the bridges, the roads in general. We spend more money on fucking Department of Education, which should be abolished. It should go back to the states. More money on education for what? To be ranked like 50th in the world on our literacy rates? Half of our country has the reading level of a 6th grader. People have to go. People are stuck between choosing going bankrupt or into debt and selling their homes or dying with our healthcare system. Democrats come in and do a fucking bullshit band-aid on our college system. And then instead of actually like fixing our fucking college system, they just go, the government will pay for it. So then the colleges can go, okay, we can charge whatever we want.
According to my friend, a Reese cups, the king size is $3.99 now. What's up with that? They used to be $1.99.
Well, especially recently, because between Biden and Trump, $10 trillion got pumped into the economy. It's like a 60-40 split. I think 60% might have been Trump actually. But like during the CARES Act, remember Trump was a proponent of everyone shutting their governments down, and then once it became unpopular, he like switched. He goes, "We need to open back up." He's the one that spent all that money on the vaccines. He was telling everyone to get vaccinated, and I'm not even trying to get into the actual vaccine, pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine debate, but it's the dollars that were behind it that Trump helped put in. $2,000 to every citizen sounded great at the time. That was just printed out of thin air. Taxes didn't get raised for that. All of these things have 4th, 5th, and 6th orders of consequences, just like this Iran war is. You know, like oil is going to go through the roof. Diesel is getting hit the most. You know what the fuel that all the trucks use to move your food around, to move your commodities around, to use your medical, like your pharmaceuticals around, to move around your fucking like the clothes you buy, all the different electronics you use, anything you could think of. You know what moves that stuff around the most? Fucking diesel semis. You think they're just going to take that loss? You think those logistics companies are going to take that loss? You think that those businesses are going to take that loss?
Right.
No. It's going into it's the same as the fucking tariffs. You're going to pay for it.
People really don't understand an economy. They talk about the economy,
insane.
but they
It's
really don't
insane.
understand.
It's insane. And I'm not like claiming to be some sort of economist or anything like that. But it's like, I read Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. I read Communism or Capitalism versus Socialism. I had an economy class in community college, and there's just a few basic principles, just supply and demand. There's always finite resources. There is no solutions. There's only trade-offs. And when the government is going to subsidize and print money to pay for a resource, that resource is being pulled away from the free market, and it's going to make it more expensive for you. An example of this is look at the fucking auto industry. How they all shifted to making electric vehicles because the government was subsidizing it. Look how fast they stopped doing that when they stopped getting paid that money. They weren't selling those cars, but the government was paying for it. And then all of a sudden there was a scramble for lithium and a scramble for all the different like resources that were used for that could have been used for something else. So now, because the government is paying these companies to buy those resources became a hell of a lot more expensive for any other widget, doodad, whatever you want to think of, that use that resource.
Yeah. Circling back to silver.
Exactly.
Data centers. All that shit. That's all government subsidized.
Yeah. Well, Trump's a communist. We already know that. He's the first president to be. Not to say that Biden wasn't, but Trump is too.
And it's funny because everybody's like, "No, he's a fascist," and it's like, like he's well. Ideally, he cannot be both, but it's like, I don't know, man. He's a new kind of guy. This is a new kind of guy.
The only way you could say ideally you cannot be both is if it's coming from somebody who says true communism has never been tried. That's the only way it's not ideally both. That's the only way it's not ideally both. Because when the state owns everything, the state has to have a gun to make sure that they continue to own everything. That's fascism.
That's fair, dude.
You know, like that's it's if the government is doing anything to like when God, I could kick my own ass 10 years ago and I'd be like, oh, but yeah, free college sounds great. And socialism sounds not so bad. It's just who runs it? The government. You trust this government? You trust the government that's in charge right now?
See, the thing is,
okay, and flip it. You love Trump. Let's say you are a die-hard Trump supporter, and you're using cognitive dissonance to explain away anything that you think Trump is doing, like buying golden shares. Like Trump, our government now just owns a part of like a private industry of steel. Does anyone even know that? The Japanese American steel deal. Trump let that go through. That's right. He offshored and sold a big steel industry to Japan, but his caveat was the American government owns a golden stock. They own a golden share in this company, and then we get to dictate what happens with it.
Communism.
That is the American government seizing the means of production.
Do you know what the real problem with communism is? It will never ever ever work on a large scale because everything always gets centralized. There's always a clique.
That's where our government is headed right now.
Yep.
Things like the Department of Education, things like the EPA, things like OSHA. I would rather have it to where it's 50 states dictating those things, because then you have 50 experiments going on at the same time. And then the cream rises to the top, right? The cream of the crop, and when one state fucking nails it and it's working really good, other states can follow it. And then, unfortunately, when one state fucks it up bad, like California does a lot of things, a lot of states can go,
we don't do that no more.
Ew, no, thank you. We're not going to do that one. It's just, it's a fucking mess, man. And it's not good. It's not good at all. And Trump just opened the door for a lot of communist actions and a lot of communist policy that you think the Dems are going to reel that back? You think the Dems are going to go, ew, communism, ew, socialism, gross, no way. We don't want to use money to fucking subsidize private industry. That's literally their whole gambit since Clinton.
People always it's not even that. Republicans too. People think that like if one party does something bad, that their party's actually going to undo it. And that's a real problem, because that's not the case. They take it further. It's like you have people just supporting.
What it is, it's like when you're trying to tighten down a bolt and you feel that it's stripped, right? And it's like, ooh, I think this thing is getting stripped, but I think it can go a little bit tighter. And you try to tighten it more, and you're just stripping it more. And you're just, and then someone goes, "Let me take a look at it." Then they're like, maybe you just need to tighten it a little bit more. Then they're stripping it more, when the whole thing just needs to be removed and taken away.
See,
that's what's happening.
What's crazy too is all right, MAGA 2 years, MAGA 4 years ago, MAGA 6 years ago. That was insane.
3 months ago, a MAGA 2 weeks ago.
No, MAGA
no new wars.
now?
And here's the thing is people are when it comes to MAGA or like Harris, so many people voted for Trump because no new wars and all this stuff. And then
that was legit. I'm gonna say that if you're campaigning on no new wars, and I've heard you say 100 times that getting out of the Middle East is good, and I can rationalize with what this man is saying, I could see voting for him. And I would sympathize with a lot of people that actually voted for him. I'll say that right now. I didn't vote.
And I would sympathize them more if they were principled and they were like, yeah, you know what? I voted for him because he said no new wars. He wanted to shrink the government.
You see a lot of that now. I mean, I'm sure some of it is like, no. But more than before.
I've voted libertarian since 2016, except for in the 2024. I voted for myself.
Dude, I have voted libertarian every election of my life.
I mean,
it's just I vote. If
this government, they all run on this government sucks, so we need more of it. No thanks.
I mean, the thing is, this is a genuine crazy brainwashing. Like I said earlier, this guy is changing.
It's just the goalposts.
He's changing. He's right. He's changing what a Republican is. Like, when you think Republican, who do you think? The same person that I think.
Ron Paul.
Like when you think
Thomas Massey.
Oh, you think Thomas Massey? Yeah, that's who I think of. That's a genuine conservative.
Dude, if Thomas Massey runs, I'm gonna volunteer for his campaign.
Here, check this out. Check this out, though. people think that he's terrible because he has Democratic donors to his, and it's like, dude, you have to
Why is that a
understand.
bad thing? Why is it a
It's not a
bad thing
bad-
that someone who votes 90% with the Republican Party has
No,
Democrat
90,
voters?
91.
That's
It
important.
matters.
Why is somebody who votes 91% of the time with the Republican Party getting Democratic voters, and he's being shit on by Trump? What the fuck is that?
And if you actually read into them and look into them, like, I don't understand how you could, like,
Every time he votes no, read the bill. Just read the bill.
they go
Then you'd be
after
like, ah,
his
that makes sense.
They go after his deceased wife. Like, oh, he moved on and got married again. He probably killed her. Like,
Oh,
literally,
JD
shit
Vance
like that.
fucks a couch, so
Like, right, dude. Like, they fuck children, allegedly.
yeah.
So, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, Thomas Massey is an American treasure. And I'm going to say that right now.
Oh
Rokana.
yeah.
Rokana's
Rokana's the
there.
Democrat gem. Yeah, he's the Democratic gem. Could you imagine if a Rokana Thomas Massey ticket was out there?
That's a genuine
They'd wipe the
American
floor.
ticket. That's a genuine American ticket.
The
I would vote
Uniparty
for
wouldn't
that.
allow it. The Uniparty would not allow it.
Don't care. They would get too many votes. Dude. It's the court of public opinion. I'm telling you, dude. You see it on Facebook. Like, social media doesn't lie, and there's not enough of bots to outdo you on a lot of pro-Trump pages. I'm on a lot of pro-Trump pages. I'm also on a lot of pro-Democrat pages. I want everybody's opinion. But
yeah, I try to stay out of the echo chamber.
Yeah,
you ever talk to someone who only watches Fox News? Or you ever talk to somebody who only watches MSNBC?
Well, I talked to them for
you could tell
a limited
quick.
time. It's a very limited time, and I really do not try to be offensive on social media anymore. But I see a lot of support for Thomas Massey. And it's a shame I don't see as much support for Rokana because he co-signs everything that Thomas Massey does. I think Rokana should get ahead and author himself some bills that do some shit. And I think he could be a strong candidate. I mean, you know what I think would be a crazy thing is if Thomas Massey was the Republican candidate and Rokana was a Democrat, candidate. I think that would be
the loser, and they go back to like the 1700s, and the loser becomes the VP.
Oh, that would be even cooler, dude! Like, that would be cooler. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that'd be very cool. I mean, I think Trump going after Thomas Massey is really just damaging Trump, especially with the Epstein files and all that and everything. But, dude, like, I don't even know the guy who he's endorsing in Kentucky, if that tells you anything. I forgot his name.
His name's Gallion or something like that, dude. So I watched that rally today.
Okay.
And it was just, like, I don't know, it was just a fucking mess. Like, there was a chick behind him that, like, fainted and...
What?
Oh, Trump, yeah. Trump was talking about fucking Obama. He said the only thing I liked about Obama, which isn't even that good, because he was talking about going up and down the steps on, like, you know how he goes off on these weird tangents. He was talking about going up and down the steps on Air Force One and how the world didn't respect Biden because he would fall going up and down the stairs. And then he was talking about how he goes, I go really slow and I hold on to that rail. And he goes, like, Obama is the only thing I give him credit for is he would just run up and down those stairs. But then he's like, and he's doing this little thing. He goes, and he would go up and down the stairs. He's so unpresidential. Like, what? So now the way Obama ran up and down the stairs on the fucking plane was unpresidential, is what Trump said.
I want to see Trump jog a quarter mile, but
he doesn't even ride a bike. Biden rides bikes. He falls.
Dude, the only thing Donald,
You
that's
remember when
hey, but you know
Biden
what?
fell on the bike?
Yeah, but you know what? He tries to do it. I'll give it to him for that. He was a dumbass president, but I'll say like he tried. But like Donald Trump, dude, you never see that dude on a bike.
You think he can even ride a bike?
No.
I want to see Biden. I want to see Trump on a bicycle.
Dude, I don't even think Trump could ride a Segway.
Probably can't. Should we talk about this job loss?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I got this article right here, and it's from NPR, and it's like, all right, I know NPR, right? But everything that they're citing is from the Department of Labor Statistics, which is Trump's Department of Labor Statistics. So take it with it what you will. The U.S. unexpectedly loses 92,000 jobs, adding to worries about the economy. The U.S. job market turned weaker last month, dashing hopes for an economic rebound. A report from the Labor Department on Friday shows employers cut 92,000 jobs in February, when economists had expected the U.S. would continue adding jobs, albeit at a sluggish pace, and the unemployment rate inched up to 4.4%. Job gains for December and January also revised downward, with the December now showing a net loss of 17,000 jobs. February's job losses were widespread, with factories, construction companies, and the federal government all shedding workers, even healthcare, which has been a source of strength in the job market, losing 28,000 jobs in February, partly as a result of a nurses' strike, which I didn't even know was happening. Did you know there was a nurses' strike happening?
I did, but I didn't know it was like that. I thought it was hospital, like one hospital.
Policymakers had hoped the job market was stabilizing after an anemic hiring in 2025, but February's job losses suggest continued weakness that could alter the Federal Reserve's calculus as it weighs further cuts in interest rates. So I'm actually going to share this screen because right here is showing a unemployment, or the unemployment gap, or the unemployment rate over the last 10 years. You remember when this happened right here? April 2020? We were at a 14% unemployment rate. A government mandated 14.8% unemployment rate. That right there. This was the government. Yes, there was a pandemic happening, but the reason why people were told to stay home was the government. It's not that people were dying or losing their jobs. The weaker than expected jobs report comes as Americans were already anxious about the high cost of living. Those affordability concerns will likely be amplified as the war in Iran has triggered a sharp rise in energy prices. AAA reports the average price of gasoline jumped another 7 cents overnight to $3.32 a gallon. That's 21 cents higher than this time last year. Still, people who are working continue to receive pay wages. Average wages in February were up 3.8% from a year ago.
Oh.
Consumers price index is pretty steady. We're probably going to see rate cuts. Unemployment's, I think they try to shoot for 4.3%. I think the Fed tries to shoot for I think they actually try to shoot for 3.5. I think the threads trifecta of the special numbers is like a 2% GDP growth, 2% inflation, or it might even be like 4% GDP. I don't know if you could look that up real quick, but there's like a trifecta of like GDP growth, unemployment rate, and inflation rate that all go into are all taken into account when they decide to raise or lower rates. But
the trifecta of economic performance typically refers to achieving strong GDP growth, low inflation, and a low unemployment rate simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so those are the three that I don't know if you have the actual numbers for each of those, but
as of early 2026, this balance is evolving, with the U.S. GDP growth recently hitting a strong 4.3% in quarter 3 2025, while inflation remains a concern, with core PCE growing 2.9% in the same period. The ideal scenario, often called the Goldilocks economy, is to maintain sustainable GDP growth of 2.5% to 3.5% without triggering excessive inflation.
Yeah. So like that's like the economy is perfect when it's a 3.5% GDP, and I think it's like a 2% inflation rate and a 3.5%
unemployment.
So we might see a small cut.
Yeah.
We might see a cut coming up, especially with gas prices going up. We're gonna like, in this war that we're again now, we're gonna see inflation going up. So you might see a GDP cut.
With our war companies.
Yeah. So 92,000, yeah, and especially at 92,000 jobs lost. But you're probably gonna see that be fixed by wartime industries.
Yeah.
I got some Epstein stuff. Apparently, the prison guards were caught discussing the cover-up of the death. Some inmates were saying that they overheard some stuff. That the Jeffrey Epstein case has returned to the spotlight after new release Justice Department documents released or raised new questions about the conduct of a prison guard who was on duty during the night Epstein died in 2019.
Oh, no
Tova
way, that's
Noel.
crazy.
According to the report, investigations reviewed the behavior and financial activity of one of the guards responsible for maintaining Epstein at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Records show the guard made multiple unexplained cash deposits in the months leading up to Epstein's death, which investigations flagged as potentially suspicious. The newly disclosed files also reveal that prison staff were scrutinized for internet searches about Epstein and other unusual behavior around the time he died. The guard in question was part of the overnight shift that failed to properly monitor Epstein, and officials previously determined that the guards did not conduct the required regular checks on inmates and later falsified records to make it appear that they had done so. Although prosecutors once charged the guards with falsifying records, the case was later resolved through a deferred prosecution agreement, meaning the guards avoided prison time if they complied with certain conditions. Epstein was found dead in his cell in August 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. Authorities ruled the death to be suicide by hanging, but the circumstances such as missed checks, malfunctioning cameras, and staff misconduct have fueled ongoing public skepticism and investigations. Now the Zorro Ranch is being investigated as well, too.
Well, one of the most high-profile people you've ever had in custody and you don't have working cameras on them, that's suspicious.
That's suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah, no, that... I don't even think he's dead, dude. Dude, I mean, really... I mean, unless it's like super classified for some odd reason, there would be pictures.
Yeah, it's a little sus, right?
Just a little.
So did you hear about MTG's seat? You know how she's resigned or whatever?
Yeah.
It's looking like a Dem might actually win her seat.
Where was her seat?
In Georgia.
Well,
but right now there's a Democrat that's like leading in polls, which polls really don't mean shit.
I like how we have to say that every time.
That the polls don't always accurate. Well, no, because the polls are also done in the same echo chambers that we talk about. Like, oh, is it Rasmussen or is it MSNBC?
Is
you
it
know,
yeah.
There's, you know, like you have to like compile all the polls together, which Real Clear Politics does a pretty good job on. Like,
yeah, but it's bad when there's only one publication doing polls.
Like right now, I'm looking at. I'm sharing it on the screen. The 2026 generic congressional vote is leaning to Democrats at 4 points. The 2028 Republican nomination is saying Vance. The fucking Democratic nomination is still saying Harris, so that means like that's the only way Vance would win.
It's dumb. Gavin Newsom, if they want to win. But
you think Newsom
or Gretchen?
I think Gretchen would probably win it. Like our qualms with her is inside like baseball, essentially.
Yeah.
President's job approval is still underwater,
if
and the direction of the country is underwater.
If she signs constitutional carry in our state, her record will look insane when she goes to run for president. Just saying.
That's coming up, isn't it?
She's got one black mark on her record.
And that was her heavy hand on COVID and old people dying in nursing homes. But COVID is such old news, and like you could maneuver around that. Like she could blame that on Trump if she wanted to.
And the thing is she's still our governor, and that's crazy. So if she really wanted to run for president, she probably could.
But yeah, here, where do I have that at?
We have a graph.
Yeah, I was just putting that on the screen.
That's 5.5 points.
But right now, so when it comes to like what's going on right now, because like technically these are all special elections, these aren't actual midterms. In Georgia's 14th congressional district, this race fills the House seat previously held by Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a March 2026 vote produced no majority winner, sending Democrat Sean Harris and Republican Clayton Fuller to an April runoff. The district heavily favored Trump in 2024, about 68%, so analysts are watching whether Democrats overperform in a deep red seat. State legislative.
Who's their candidate?
It's Sean Harris is the Democrat, and then Clayton Fuller is the Republican, who is endorsed by Trump.
Oh, I did see. Okay.
And then
I'll have more on
in
him
New
next
Hampshire, week. Democrat Bobby Bowden flipped a Republican-held state house seat in a district Trump carried. And analysts called it one of 28 Democratic upsets in special elections recently. Which there was 28 upsets. Arkansas Democrats flipped a Republican state legislative seat in another special election earlier in the year. And these races often serve as early indicators of voter enthusiasm. A race in Michigan's, Michigan, 35th Senate District could determine control of the state Senate. Democrats hold only a one-seat majority, so the result could change legislative power. And Michigan is a major presidential swing state, so shifts there may reflect broader voter mood. There's an upcoming, so the 4 upcoming federal special elections are New Jersey's 11th congressional district, California's 1st congressional district, Ohio Senate special election, and Florida Senate special election. These races fill seats vacated by officials moving into other offices. So what we're looking for is overperformance versus baseline when it comes to the swings, turnout, suburban swing, issue salience, candidate quality, which candidate quality doesn't fucking matter when it comes to Trump, because it's just all they have to do is just vote on or just run on Orange Man bad. Democrat leaders are portraying early special election wins as signs of a potential blue wave. Some strategists say recent flips suggest voters are reaching reacting to national policies and economic concerns. Michigan's Democratic Party Chair Curtis Hurdle said special elections show voters are focused on lowering costs and protecting health care. Republicans are arguing that many of the flips are low turnout anomalies, and conservative voters often show up more strongly in general elections. And that, since when? Old people have always been the ones that known to show up to vote. The GOP strategists emphasize maintaining turnout in rural areas and winning back suburban voters.
You know what I feel
which
like
is really funny. What's that?
I feel like somebody a little more left than Thomas Massey is going to come up for a Democratic nomination.
That's fair.
They have to find somebody. Dude. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because the Republicans are in fact scrambling right now.
You have Democrats supporting a conservative, like a genuine conservative right now.
Yep. And you're watching all the redistricting that was happening in places like Texas and stuff, just fucking the Republicans in the ass. Like, here's another example. Here's Mike Johnson talking about the recent, Latino and Hispanic voters.
We got a little hiccup with some of the Hispanic and Latino voters for certain, because some of the immigration enforcement was viewed to be overzealous, and describe it differently. But here's the good news: we're in a course correction mode right now. We're going to have a new Secretary of Homeland Security. Mark Wayne Mullen is going to be do a great job in that role. I'm sure that he'll be confirmed by the Senate. He's a thoughtful guy. He'll bring a thoughtful approach. You have somebody like Tom Homan, who has 40 years experience in the field and was decorated by former Democrat presidents for his acumen and expertise. And he went into Minneapolis and brought calm to the chaos there. That's what you're going to see. And I future, we got a little hiccup with some of the Hispanic Latino voters.
They know they fucked themselves. And then, but last week we talked about how Trump came out and said, we got to lighten up. We got to lighten up on the immigrants. Yes, the midterms are heating up. That's all I got for us, Belle.
Well, that's all I got for us.
You got any final thoughts? You got any final thoughts or anything you want to add to the conversation?
I hope by this time next. Well, yep. I hope by this time next week a genuine resolution is reached. I know, like 90% of the people out here are unreasonable, and they just think that, like,
I'd say less. I think it's noisy, not numerous. A lot of people don't want this shit.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of people do, and like they just want to go to war. Like, that's the thing to do, and it's really not. And I hope by this time next week we have some better news.
Here's to hoping.
That would be grand. Yeah.
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website can be found. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today, and Dan will be back next week. I'll be getting back into the co-captain's chair so I can get back to my normal shenanigans of being a co-host versus trying to run this ship, which, you know what, Belle, I think we did a pretty good job.
I do too.
Until next week, he has been Bell, the Reformed Body Snatcher.
And he has been Corey Walsh.
And until next time, we're out of here. Oh shit, the intro.
Fantastic.
What the intro play? Well, shit. The wheels are falling
For
off.
second.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all. The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.